This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Joko Diamond welcoming you to another Sports Catastrophe on this date. And on this day, September 29th, 1976, one of the biggest moves in Dodger history happened as Tommy Lasorda officially became manager of the LA Dodgers. Lasorda's role in the Dodger organization cannot be denied because of his prowess as manager. But the fact of the matter is that did you know that Tommy Lasorda actually played baseball, like played in the major leagues? People don't know that. But anyway, Tommy Lasorda came up to the Dodgers organization in 1954 after a few years with the minor league club, yes, in Montreal. So anyway, he would make a start May 5th, 1955 against the Cardinals. And in his only major league start, he threw 3 wild pitches in 1 inning and then got spiked accidentally by Wally Moon trying to score on the 3rd wild pitch. Lasorda made 3 more appearances for the Dodgers and was sent back to Montreal. Montreal sent up this fresh-faced kid by the name of Sandy Koufax to replace Lasorda on the roster. So Lasorda will always be remembered for the guy who was taken out for Sandy Koufax. Anyway, Lasorda was sold to the Kansas City Athletics, for the A's organization, but then they traded him to the Yankees in July 1956. He would be in AAA for the Yankees, but sold back to the Dodgers. Anyway, Lasorda went back to Montreal to pitch AAA, and then was released in July 1960. He won 107 games for the Montreal Royals, becoming the best pitcher ever by wins. His major league career was 0-4 with a 6.5 ERA in 26 games, so basically he never won a game. However, Lasorda was hired as a scout by the Dodgers, and then in the rookie leagues he became a manager by 1966. To inspire confidence in his players at the rookie ball, he had each of them write a letter to the LA Dodgers. They played their position every day in the big leagues, informing them regularly that they would be replacing him one day. Some did, some didn't. Anyway, he went to AAA to be the manager of the Dodgers affiliation in Spokane in 1969. And then it turned into Albuquerque in 1972, winning the PCL, the Pacific League Championships. Lasorda would be in Dominican winter ball for a while, and even won the Caribbean World Series in Venezuela. Anyway, by 1973, the Dodgers had seen enough and gave Lasorda the third base coach position on the staff of Walter Alston. So for 4 years he was the third base coach, and he was basically Alston's heir apparent. And many teams wanted to hire him as a manager, but he always turned it down, saying he had the Dodger job coming to him. Sometimes he would be at the third base coach's box as manager. Anyway, so once Walter Alston retired after 24 years of being the Dodgers manager in 1976, it was Lasorda's time. That's what today's date is about. Anyway, Lasorda would actually manage the final 4 games of the 76 season, but Lasorda would be big for the Dodgers. It got them respectability. They went to the World Series in 77, his first full year as manager. Lost to the Yankees in 6, but still, they got in. Almost had it in 78, but they faltered on the stretch. Despite all that, Lasorda would win 1,599 games as Dodger manager, winning 2 World Series championships, 4 NL pennants, and 8 division titles in his 20 years. And all that. So anyway, yeah. 4 trips to the World Series, 2 World Series titles, in 81 and 88. 81 was big because the Dodgers were down 2-0 to the Yankees after losing the first 2 games at Yankee Stadium, and then they used Dodger Stadium to their advantage and won the series in 6. And in 1988, well, they were not really favored to do well, especially against the 100-plus win New York Mets in the NLCS. Not only that, they had to deal with Oakland, who were powerhouse in the 1988 World Series. We all know about Kirk Gibson's home run, and the rest was history. Lasorda would actually manage 9 players getting Rookie of the Year. The strange thing was that he had a 4 in a row and 5 in a row. From 1979 to 1982, he would manage Rick Sutcliffe, Steve Howe, Fernando Valenzuela, and Steve Sachs to be Rookie of the Year. from 92 to 95, he actually managed Eric Carroll's, Mike Piazza, Raul Mondesi, and Hideo Nomo to win Rookie of the Year. During the 1996 season, he actually retired during that season, and Todd Hollandsworth won the Rookie of the Year. But anyway, Lasorda beat the Astros one day, June 23rd, 1996. But the following day, he drove himself to the hospital, complaining of abdominal pain, but he was having a heart attack. So he would recover, but unfortunately a month after that, it was revealed that Bill Russell, the former shortstop of the Dodgers, not the Boston Celtics legend, would be the manager, and Lasorda would formally announce his retirement. But it made Russell only the third guy ever to manage the Dodgers in 43 years. So that's like almost 14 years per manager, if you will, if you do the math. It's kind of akin to Pittsburgh, only having 3 head coaches since 1969 with the Steelers. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. Anyway, he was great in all of that. He was named vice president of the Dodgers upon retirement. So he looked huge. He came out of retirement to manage the U.S. team at the 2000 Olympics, and they actually shocked Cuba. So Lasorda, of course, is the guy who took that famous tumble during the 2001 All-Star Game while coaching in the third base box. But he had a great persona and all that. So Lasorda is huge and all that. And don't you forget it. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.